set. He's like, what's next? You're going to take away the Cowboys, too? They're the ones that got the Indians.
Josh Innes, morning 6 to 10 on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
You count on your air conditioning to work perfectly and to make your family comfortable. So if you ever have a problem, you want someone who will be there to help right away. At Burkhardt Air Conditioning and Heating, that's the commitment we've made to our customers for over 25 years. Our NATE certified technicians provide emergency service for any type and any brand of cooling system. If you need help anytime, call us. We promise to get you up and running again quickly and professionally. And if you're thinking about an upgrade, right now, we'll help you save with quality cooling equipment from Amana. These systems come with incredible warranties, and we have 5 years interest-free financing available now. Plus, our Amana brand HVAC systems are highly efficient. With Burkhardt's 25% energy reduction guarantee, you'll continue saving on utility bills for years to come. Whether it's an emergency repair or a brand new cooling system, we're here to help when you need us. Trust Burkhardt Air Conditioning and Heating. Visit acpromise.com.
Some sobering new statistics are out about binge drinking. A new government study shows that more than 37 million Americans binge drink once a week, averaging 7 drinks per episode. The CDC defines binge drinking as consuming 5 or more drinks for men or 4 or more drinks for women over the course of 2 hours. The nationwide flu epidemic is winding down. It's not over, not by a long shot, but the CDC says flu was widespread last week in 26 states plus Puerto Rico. At the peak of the epidemic, as you may recall, it was widespread in 48 states. Probiotics taken during pregnancy may help lower a child's risk of eczema. A study out of England found that probiotics can influence the development of a baby's skin and immune system if taken during the last weeks of pregnancy and the first 6 months of breastfeeding. The study found a 22% lower risk of eczema. Health updates. Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Dunc and Holder on a Monday, March 19th. Larry Holder, Clyde Verdun, Dave DeCourbier at our iHeart studios. Jeff is probably running around London or something wearing the old Union Jack Speedo. I would imagine that to be true. Clyde, I know you're picturing that in your head.
I'm doing no such thing.
You're just dazzled by it. Totally dazzled by it.
But I mean, he wouldn't be in the Union Jack. He would be in St. George's Cross. The Union Jack really isn't a thing anymore, seeing as how...
It's not a thing?
It's not as big of a thing as us Americans make it out to be because, obviously Republic of Ireland, Great Britain, all that kind of stuff. They just use St. George's Cross. So it's just the white cross... the white flag with the red cross.
Tomato, potato, I don't care. Whatever. Regardless, he's running around doing things, not being on the show. I presume he will be back Wednesday, I think, if he can get through customs just fine. But yeah, so... Clyde and I had quite an interesting weekend. Clyde making the road trip, me literally not tripping on the road.
Yes.
Not tripping on the road.
Well done.
That was good.
That's really
good stuff. But look, so much to talk about here. We're guest free on a Monday, just like we typically do, just so we can go over everything that's happened over the weekend. If you want to get involved in the show, like I said, we're going to have open phone lines throughout. 504-260-1280 is the number. Of course, we're going to be talking plenty of Pelicans. We had a great time on Friday night at the Troubadour Hotel at the Monkey Board, the rooftop bar. The crawfish was awesome. Thanks for those who came out and joined us. We gave away plenty of tickets. They got to see one Pelicans game where it caused Alvin Gentry to lose his mind. And then the next day, he gets it back, gets a little fine, and yet the Pelicans win and beat Boston, lose to the Houston Rockets. So we'll go through all of that. You'll hear from Alvin Gentry, his comments on what got him fined. And Clyde, you know me, and I said it when we were talking about it last week. I'm not a likes to blame the officials guy, but obviously I wasn't in.
You were in the minority.
I was not in a boat all by myself, so I think it was frustration from the game before with the Spurs, and then come the Rockets game on Saturday, and definitely some holdover. And I think at least someone in the officiating crew on that Sunday game maybe subliminally got the message, and the Pelicans with a big win against Boston. Hey, a Kyrie Irving-less Boston, but it doesn't matter. That's a game you might not expect to win, but you win. So no big deal there. But absolutely, race is still tight in the Western Conference. We're going to go through all of that. I have a Saints mock draft, my mock draft 2.0. That's up right now on NOLA.com. Some people love it. Some people hate it. That's basically the whole point of mock draft, because some people are going to like their guys, and then all of a sudden they'll say, that is a major reach at number 27, when you really have no idea what's a reach and what's not, because you know actually who's off the board. So give me a break.
Emphasis on the word mock.
Exactly. So, well, I'm not mocking the system.
No. It's a projection.
Right, exactly. It's more about what positions I feel like they need to address throughout the draft. And guys I might not think tight end should be taking at number 27. But the problem is you don't have a second-round pick, and so that's where you run into the dilemma. But we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about Tom Benson and his will. That was made public over the weekend, and not a big surprise with the will, but we'll go through some of the stern language written in that will by Tom Benson. And when you want to make it ironclad, you get the Archbishop to be your witness in signing the will, which he did. So we'll go through some of that. And NCAA tournament, my goodness. I called and gloated in Clyde's space once Virginia went down. And then
Guess what happened?
He got to gloat back in my face when Cincinnati blew a 20-point lead and my national champion's gone. I forget. Who did you pick to win the national championship?
I picked Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was true.
Yeah.
So you and me, both of our champs are gone.
Yeah. But
See ya.
But the only difference is that my pick to win the national championship will now go down forevermore as one of only 2 teams ever on both the men's and women's side as the number 1 seed to lose to a 16 seed.
So it's happened once.
It's happened once before.
Women.
It happened once in the women's. It was 98. Harvard beat Stanford.
That sounds about right. It's always those pesky Ivy League teams, like way back when Princeton almost beat Georgetown.
Exactly, yes. So now this is only the second time it's happened, but I mean, the kudos to Virginia Coach Bennett. He handled it with as much class and aplomb as you can imagine. I mean, his kids were obviously devastated, but it goes back to talking about the system, which we'll get into later. But there was a lot of talk about Virginia and then a lot of talk about college basketball as a whole in terms of a coach like Jim Boeheim who will play the zone will get further than a guy like Bennett who will play his style and will always now have to deal with the fact that no one will trust his teams anymore in the NCAA tournament.
Well, I didn't originally, so that is on record. It's recorded, I think. But I'm on record. You know
I'm not finding it.
Exactly. Clyde's not going to find it. But, yeah, of course, my national champion. I'd turn it off because they're up 20, and then all of a sudden I turn it back on, and Nevada's coach is shirtless, getting doused in the locker room. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Eric Musselman, just in case we need to bring this up again, was an assistant on Johnny Jones' staff at LSU.
I saw Johnny Jones lurking on a sideline. Who is he an assistant coach for now? It might be Cincinnati, right?
No, I don't think it's Cincinnati. No, I don't think it's Cincinnati.
I saw him lurking on someone's sideline. Yeah, so we saw that, and what a wild and woolly weekend. And here's what's...
Oh, yeah, he is at Nevada. He is with Nevada because, of course, it was a reverse because he had Musselman on his staff at LSU. He leaves after a year to go to Nevada to take the head job, and then Johnny gets canned, and now he's at Nevada.
Like, help me out, my friend.
It's like, hey, I need a job just for at least a couple more years. I need this pension to go through.
So Johnny Jones is in the Sweet 16, and yet last year he was one of the most dreadful coaches in you're like, you're doing the shruggy guy like in a text, like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
Hashtag shrug emoji.
Exactly. And then, oh my gosh, what else? Let's see. Loyola, don't be confused of Loyola in New Orleans. It's Loyola Chicago that's in the Sweet 16.
Although all Jesuit-based.
Yes.
Universities.
Hence why they're all Loyola. You know, that's okay. I guess the Wolfpack, the peeps that Uptown could celebrate, I guess. I don't
see why not. I mean, it's their success. You know, they got Sister Mary or whatever.
Well, they got like 5 different schools, so take your pick. Whoever does the best does the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So But, yeah, so we got plenty to talk about. LSU's taking on Utah tonight in the NIT, and that will be at 8 p.m. on ESPNU. So all things we can go into today. And I probably buried the lead 10 miles under everything I just talked about. Ndamukong Suh. He is on a world tour, apparently. He has visited the Saints. I actually saw someone who was doing some sleuth work, apparently, on social media, took a sneaky pic of Sean Payton and Ndamukong Suh at the, I think it was the Ritz. So they were having sit down. I don't know if they were breakfast, lunch, whatever. But Suh left town. He's visited Tennessee, and now reportedly he's going to go visit the Los Angeles Rams. So he's basically doing the world tour. And when you look at the Suh situation, and we could dive into it more later on in the show as well. We're just kind of laying out everything that we're talking about today. But the Saints certainly don't have a ton of cap money. The Titans have about $40 million in cap space. They're playoff bound and full of money, so I think that matters. I don't exactly know how much cap space the Rams have. I probably need to look that up. But I'm going to guess they have more than what the Saints have. And so it's something that we talked about when we were sifting through this thing. Does Suh want to be in it for the money primarily, or does he want to win primarily? And that's probably actually something he's debating right now as he's world touring. And I know he did a video on Instagram saying he's leaving New Orleans and on his way to Tennessee, but lots to think about. And I'm thinking, though, if you are right now, according to Over the Cap, I'm not sure which contracts are included or excluded, but the Rams have $28 million, almost $29 million in cap space right now. So that's certainly something that's going to come into effect with Suh and his decision making. And right now, for Over the Cap, the Saints are only $2.3 million in cap space. And this includes a Thomas Morstead contract. Well, they have not shifted that cap number yet, so they'll open up some space there because Thomas Morstead got an extension, which A, he deserves it, and B, it helps you in the cap. And I think they're going to be shifting money around to try to make sure they could fit Suh. But this $2.3 million, whenever overthecap.com figures out their projections, they include the draft class. So those obviously aren't people that are signed yet, but they're including the draft class. So it's tough economics for the Saints if they're going to try to go after Ndamukong Suh. So we'll talk more about that. How do we think he could possibly fit? Is this going to be one of those chasing the stars type of move like I've warned and people have seen kind of blow up in the Saints' faces before? Or is Suh going to come in and be someone who's going to buy in to what's going on with the Saints? And now you've got other teams, A, with cap space, and B, that have both made the playoffs last year. So basically, he's got his choice of what situation he wants to be in. All right, let's take a quick break right here on the show. When we get back, we will dive into the New Orleans Pelicans. They went 1-1 over the weekend. Alvin Gentry gets fined. The Pelicans bounce back the next day. We'll go through all that. You'll hear from Alvin Gentry on what got him fined $15,000 by the NBA for criticizing the officials after the Rockets loss.
And why he wasn't the first and certainly will not be the last, especially after playing the Rockets.
No, exactly. And he also just goes to show you, don't be a 7 or 8 seed.
No.
Don't go against the Rockets or the Warriors, because every other team between 3 and 6, I think that's a toss-up every night. So, and you're starting to see the top 8 are kind of starting to pull away from 9 and 10. And Utah, it's taken them a while, and they finally, all of their winning ways, they finally shot up the Western Conference standings. So we'll talk about all that situation and more. So come on back. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Holder.
Don't you give up, nah, nah, nah. I won't give up, nah, nah, nah. Let me love you. Let me love you.
You're invited. to the Walton Johnson Crawfish Boil. March 31st. Starts about 2 in the afternoon at Southport Hall. Crawfish from NOLA boils and music from Dr. Rock. More info at WRNO.com or Facebook.com/995 WRNO.
Update your home indoors this spring and save big at Lowe's during our Spring Black Friday event. Because now you can update your flooring with fashionable wood look floor tile and save 10%. And get up to 30% off select appliance special values, including washers, dryers, refrigerators, and more. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Flooring offer valid through March 28th. Appliance offer valid through March 21st. Exclusions apply. See store for details.
At CVS Pharmacy at Target, we put a little extra heart into everything we do. Like actively looking to save you money. Generics, 90-day refills, even rewards. Get a $5 Target coupon for every 10 prescriptions. On your next Target run, stop by CVS Pharmacy. We're the place with the big heart. Not valid on all prescriptions, including those purchased in Arkansas, New Jersey, or New York. Other restrictions apply. See cvs.com/extracare-target or the pharmacy for details. CVS Pharmacy at Target. Health is everything.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. After I left baseball, I just couldn't stay in shape like I used to. Turns out, once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone, and that can make it harder to get into shape. So I got back into the game with Nugenics. I'm feeling stronger with a lot more energy and drive. If you want to get back into shape, get Nugenics. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Frank's right. Just text RULE to 321321 to get a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And guys, she'll like the difference too.
Nugenic samples are not available in stores. To get your complimentary bottle, text RULE to 321321. That's RULE to 321321.
This is Smart Hacks for your smart speakers. I'm Stacey Walter. Did you know that Alexa will read bedtime stories to your child? Yeah, just say, Alexa, tell bedtime story to Billy, and you can both sit back until one of you falls asleep. Once upon a time. Alexa also connects you to your favorite live radio stations with iHeartRadio. Tell Alexa to play your favorite iHeartRadio station like this. Alexa, play iHeart 80s. Playing iHeart 80s on iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio has all your favorite music and radio on your smart speaker. This has been Smart Hacks for your smart speakers.
Here's today's tax tip. Americans miss out on money in their tax refunds every year because of overlooked deductions. Jackson Hewitt tax officer Mark Stieber says the IRS is lacking a safety net for these missed opportunities. Stieber says 1 out of every 5 taxpayers loses money on their refunds because they don't know all the deductions that they're qualified for. The most commonly missed deductions are those that don't have to do with life changes.
They don't find the credit you left off and say, oh, here you go, here's an extra $500 or $5,000. They're not really in that business. So if you as a taxpayer leave something off of your tax return, it's just money left on the table.
For example, starting a new small business that a taxpayer doesn't think has generated enough income, taking care of older relatives or family members that have moved in, and education credits that are claimed when someone goes back to school. If you were among the millions of Americans looking for work last year, job hunting, moving expenses, and even the cost of printing resumes is often overlooked. That's today's tax tip from NBC News Radio. I'm Mark Mayfield.
This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Oh no.
Pelicans go 1-1 over the weekend. They go down to Houston, but rebound on Sunday and beat the Boston Celtics. And it is certainly both games were intriguing in their own right. Let's start off here with the game on Friday night that really kind of got things going this weekend. And Rockets beat the Pelicans 107-101, but it's basically the aftermath of what people were talking about as typically mild-mannered Alvin Gentry. Couldn't take it anymore, I'd say, would be a polite way to say it. At least he didn't go on like a cursing rant.
Yeah, he was surprisingly well censored for probably the words he wanted to use at that point in time.
Yeah, I'm sure. But look, Anthony Davis, none too happy with the treatment he was receiving from the officials. As a whole, they only shot 12 free throws. Anthony Davis shot 4 of them, and Alvin Gentry did not appreciate the treatment that he was receiving from the officials. And like I said, this wasn't the start of it. It's been lingering and lingering and lingering. Because you had last 2 games, San Antonio, I thought the Spurs were getting away with things, specifically with him and then other players, and then you get double whammy with Spurs and Rockets and Anthony Davis, your superstars, not getting the calls. But yeah, Alvin Gentry got fined $15,000. And let's hear all of Alvin Gentry's rant attacking the officials after the loss on Saturday to the Rockets.
I thought we played hard. I thought we competed. I thought we did everything we had to try to win the game. That's what I thought. You know, the thing that bothers me more than anything, and I really don't care, is that, we try to play the right way and we play our ass off, and then what happened to us is that, AD never gets a call. He never gets a call. We talk about them holding him, we talk about them grabbing him on rolls, we talk about him coming under him on post-up. He never gets a call. Not one. And you know why? Because he doesn't bitch and complain about it. He just keep playing the game. And so then it comes down to a few plays in the game. You can't guess on plays when you got teams playing for playoff spots. You can't guess on the game. You can't guess on a foul. When a guy's got his hands on his chest and he's got his hand in and you call a three-point shot, that's not right. That's not correct. That's not the way you do it. And then you give them the ball back on another play when they undercut a player, that's not right either. That's not correct. That's not the way you call the game. It's not. And then when you can get technical fouls from walking away from a guy, then this league has really changed. I walked away from him so I wouldn't get a technical. That being said, I thought we did everything we could to try to win the game. That's a great team down there. They have a great team with a great player. To me, he's the MVP of the league. He's done everything to earn that. His team got the best record. He's a closer. He comes up with big shots when he needs to. And they got 2 guys, he and CP, that can close the game that are great, great players. And that's a great team down there, and Mike's done a great job coaching. But all I'm saying is that, if you're going to do that, then call it both ways. When AD rolls to the basket and AD's grabbed and he's held, then give him the same call that you would give somebody else. That's all. It's not right. It's not right. Because you know what? We're battling our ass off for a playoff spot. And all we want is to have the game called the right way. And I'll take the damn fine that they're going to give me tomorrow. That's fine. But I'm sick of it. Because we hadn't said anything the whole year. We hadn't said one thing about it the whole year. We talk about it, we send it in, we write it down on the evaluation. Can you please watch the screening rolls? Can you please watch them grabbing AD? Can you please watch them under him when he's shooting the basketball? Okay. But nothing ever happens with it. And so I'm sick and tired of it. And so I'll take whatever they...
I like this guy. Where's this guy been?
That guy is always there. He just decides, he chooses his points in time when he really wants to bring out rage-filled Alvin Gentry.
I like it. Come on. You send it in, nothing happens. And you know what? I think maybe the league responded by...
The league didn't respond. They can't even make it even pretend to look that way. They can't even
sure?
Look, the NBA cannot even pretend to have something like that happen. They can't, because they can't, for the credibility of the league, they can't. Now, granted, of course, officials talk. The officials are going to talk. They're probably seeing games at night. It would be actually interesting to see.
No, Claude, don't you know that there's conspiracy theory? How do you think the Pelicans got the number 1 overall pick when Tom Benson bought the team? They've got that.
The All-Star game.
All of it.
All that, yeah, naturally.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah, sorry.
Conspiracies.
Sorry, conspiracy theory. But, I mean, let's talk about this rant and let's talk about that game. And specifically about where Alvin Gentry was very right and where he was very, very wrong.
So you're not saying he's all?
I'm not saying he's. No, I'm not saying he is. And we actually wrote about it too. So Alvin Gentry is the second coach in as many days to also receive a fine from the league. The first being Clippers coach Doc Rivers. The Rockets played the Clippers on national TV earlier this week, and that was a very chippy game from the start. And it also ended with coach Doc Rivers, also complained about the referees, also getting a $15,000 fine. So Alvin, obviously playing the same card as Doc Rivers did, same card as he did. He's right. The Rockets are one of the toughest teams to play because James Harden, as Deadspin very, very well broke down, which I'll get to after the call.
Deadspin did?
Yeah, and it's actually quite interesting because this is no spin, no flair. It actually has facts in it. But I'll read those facts. I think we got a caller coming in right now.
Yep. All right, let's hit the phone lines. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. Let's head to the French Quarter. Who we got, Dave? Oh, it's me. It's
Your namesake in the
French Quarter from Saturday night. I survived.
It's your soul.
My soul's out there. What's up, Larry? Thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What you got?
Yeah, I hadn't been to a game in months, shame on me, but I went Friday, and I'm at the opposite end, but I've got a great angle on a live shot of the phantom foul, and it was just one of those absurdities. I just started laughing. I said, that's just, that's the Harden's credit, but. I love Chris. I love CP3. I love that fire, but I don't think Harden has earned what Michael Jordan had, and it's like a faux sell. It's like fake news. He really doesn't deserve those calls. Give him credit. Used to love the Rockets, but now this is my team here, and I think Alvin's feeling some pressure, not knowing which team's going to show up any given night. I don't know, maybe what's going on with the franchise. With that being up in the air, he'll look different, too. He looks really relaxed one week, and the next week it looks like he's about ready to lose it, which obviously came very close to doing Friday night. I think it was a great pullback. Anyway, sorry to go on. I love this team.
Y'all good.
Boogie come back. I'll buy season tickets, I promise.
There you go.
See you guys later.
I appreciate
Thanks,
the phone
Larry.
call. And, yeah, it's
that plays into exactly what we're talking about here, specifically with James Harden. James Harden, for all of his talents, and I think we saw that in a few plays on Friday against the Pelicans, he is fantastically when it is all about him. ISO-driven play, one-on-one matchup styles, that's James Harden's wheelhouse. He can make defenders look silly. I mean, he is just fantastic at that. But if we talk about the Rockets are averaging 25.6 free throws a game. That's the second most in the league. They're only giving up 19.7 free throws, which is the fourth fewest. Now, while those numbers would clearly, as the article states, make it seem as if, it's just a team that attacks a lot without giving a lot of fouls, that's not necessarily it. So the Rockets as a team attempt about 42 drives a game, which is about the middle of the road in the NBA. But those drives lead to 17.2 shots per game, which is the 10th fewest. But in those games, in those drives, it leads to at least 7 free throws from those drives, which is the most in the NBA. Okay? So that's what we're talking about there. And specifically with James Harden leads the NBA in free throws per game. That's his game.
So he just drives.
And
whatever the hell happens.
Exactly.
Happens. I mean, look, he went 11 of 28 against the Pelicans, and he scored 32. So Jeff loves that volume shooter. He's either jacking it up because he shot 13 threes on Saturday night, and then 28 of the other 15 of his other 28 shots are probably slashing through the lane and getting a flailing or whatever.
Absolutely. The foul against Drew, I mean, that is specifically, and what's interesting about this Rockets team is that in a lot of circles, you have two of the biggest gamesmanship artists in the league and in NBA history on the same team, James Harden and Chris Paul. Because both of those guys live and die by really trying to confuse the refs and one-up any other type of movement, because there was no way that James Harden was shooting on that shot. And that's the problem. So that's what you're talking about specifically when in the microcosm of what Alvin Gentry is saying, and how it is unfortunate that the Rockets, who do have the best record and who will have the eventual MVP on their team, are getting calls they shouldn't be getting because the referees are being goaded into these things. However...
What? Wait a minute. You can't stop there.
However... Let's talk about Anthony Davis and him not getting the quote-unquote star calls.
Let's do that after we take a break right here on the show. 504-260-1280. Claude's got a bastion of knowledge today. Look at you.
I came ready today, dude. I came prepared.
I guess you did, man. Look, your body. Because you went road tripping. You went to Stark Vegas.
Stark Vegas got some decent barbecue. Saw some friends, man. It was awesome. It was really good times.
We won't mention the result, but good run by the Nichols State women's basketball team. Good run. At least they got there. Good run. But no, we'll bring up Clyde's altar theory. Oh my! There we go. All right, we'll talk more Ndamukong Suh later on in the show. LSU taking on Utah. We got plenty to talk about. So come on back. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Holder.
Your forecast on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
This report is brought to you by Holiday Inn West Bank.
From the Fox 8 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Bruce Katz. Today will be a mostly cloudy day. A few scattered showers around at 20%. Going to be warm, too, the high of 82. Now, tonight, a front moves in. Overnight lows after midnight drop to the 50s. And then tomorrow for Tuesday, a good-looking day. Sunshine returns. High in the upper 60s on Wednesday as well. And the overnight lows for Wednesday and Thursday morning, get this, back to the 40s north and 50s south. From the Fox 8 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Bruce Katz with your Weather Authority forecast.
Enjoy a breathtaking view of the New Orleans skyline and the mighty Mississippi River from the top of the Holiday Inn West Bank Tower. Events catered by the Roundhouse Bar and Grill offer your favorite local dishes. Swing by the Holiday Inn West Bank to meet the team and reserve your special day.
This week on Big Easy Deals, get a family 4-pack to the Audubon Butterfly Garden and Insectarium for just $34. Watch as the beautiful butterflies swoop and soar all around you. Go to foxsportsam1280.com, keyword deals for your half-off certificate today.
You know, before Boost, our phone bill was obscene. I had to hide it from the kids. So, we switched to Boost and got lines for the whole family with unlimited gigs for a much more family-friendly price. It's nice to have a phone bill that doesn't require parental controls.
Your family deserves better than scary phone bills. Get 4 lines for only $25 per line, each with unlimited gigs. Plus, get up to 4 free Samsung J7 perks with 6 months of Hulu, where you can stream all the shows everyone is talking about. All on the super reliable and super fast nationwide network. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
Offer ends 4/16/18. First lines $100 a month. Lines 2 to 4 free. Requires 1 line to port in. Includes unlimited talk, text, and data with video streams at up to 480p. Music at up to 500 kilobits per second. Gaming up to 2 megabits per second. DDD prioritization during congestion. Free phones require port-in, purchase of eligible device, and activation on plans $50 or higher. Includes 6 months of access to 1 Hulu limited commercial plan per eligible line for new Hulu subscribers only. Additional restrictions apply. Terms at www.boostmobile.com/Hulu-terms. Coverage and offers not available everywhere. Restrictions apply.
The 4 for $4 from Wendy's has a lot of fans because it's a deal that gives you a sandwich plus 4 nuggets, a small fry, and drink, all for just $4. But now the 4 for $4 has more variety than ever with 8 sandwich choices.
I'm loyal to the double stack.
I'm Junior Bacon Cheeseburger through and through.
I pledge myself to the crispy chicken sandwich.
I'm loyal to my hunger. Whether you're loyal to one sandwich or all 8, the Wendy's 4 for $4 has a sandwich for you. So try them all and pick your favorite. Now that's deliciously different.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time. Offer not valid in Alaska and Hawaii.
Your teams, your Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Programming note. Tonight, 6 to 7 on Sports 1280, the Travis Jewett Show. Of course, Tulane baseball coach. First Travis Jewett show tonight. So listen in 6 to 7. I know they dropped 2 out of 3 on the road at Long Beach State, even though they had a dazzling pitching performance Sunday, but got 1 hit. 1 hit. I don't know how well that's going to go over.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this later on in the show, but yeah, we knew that this would be a challenging schedule for Tulane baseball, and it's been tough sledding so far. So we'll talk about this later on in the show. But Clyde is basically saying Alvin Gentry's comments are nonsense, total nonsense about Anthony Davis. Total.
I didn't say that. I didn't say they were complete nonsense. I would just say that this is the halfway point of Will Wade's rant after the win over Louisiana Lafayette.
Right.
Just all the facts aren't completely right.
Uh-oh. So.
Just a tiny bit.
What's not right about him?
So let's talk about specifically the part where he says Anthony Davis never gets a call. Over the course of this season.
And where are you citing this from?
ESPN.
Okay.
I was about to say, I don't know if you dug up
the website. Okay,
yeah,
good.
This is from ESPN.
All
right. If I were to give you a list of the players in the league who draw the most fouls on average per game, who do you think is number one?
LeBron.
No, not even close.
Then I don't know.
DeMarcus Cousins.
Really?
Guess who's number 2 on that list?
Oh, no. Tell me Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, on average, Anthony Davis is drawing 7.3 fouls per game in the NBA. That's number 2, only behind DeMarcus Cousins, who's averaging 7.8, and he's been out since when?
Yeah.
January.
Quite a while.
So the fact that Anthony Davis doesn't get a call.
Where's James Harden on the list?
He's number 3.
Okay.
He draws 7.1 per game.
Right.
But the difference between those two is that, again, kind of goes back to Gentry's credit, is the fact that Harden has attempted 610 free throws this season again, which is first, while Anthony Davis has only had 484. Also on that list at number 4, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I was waiting for him to pop
6.9.
up. Yeah. Because he's a slasher and he's,
Right. And so the thing that Alvin Gentry is clearly trying to do, which again is partially true but only in very tiny bottles, is that Anthony Davis is not going to get the same types of calls that a James Harden is going to get because of the type of, number one, the type of style and offense they play and the type of player they are. James Harden has his ball in the hands. That's the whole point. The Rockets offense doesn't go unless James Harden has the ball in his hands. Anthony Davis, while he is the main cog of the offense, he's not Drew Holiday. He's not Rondo. He's not bringing the ball up the court. It's different how both those teams work.
All right, 504-260-1280. Let's head to the North Shore and let's talk with Chris. Hey, Chris, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What you got?
Hey, thanks, guys. I think part of that disparity between let's say, how many fouls are called for them and how many free throws or points is that when Harden goes in many times, he doesn't have any intention of actually making a shot. He's looking for the foul.
Absolutely.
And, what's that?
No, absolutely. You're 100% correct.
So either way, I have a hard time watching Harden play, and he's become one of my least favorite player in the league because of the way when he goes in, that head fake throw up thing, or he throws his head up. He throws limbs out that have nothing to do with a basketball move, and it's just ugly to watch, and it's almost like watching soccer players flop, and so that's my issue with them. And
it almost reminds me of Manu Ginobili. Maybe it's left-handed too, and the flopping and flailing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So perfect. And my final comment is, I think part of Gentry's frustration, I'm sure it is the game before, which I watched both games, when Manu Ginobili, on one occasion, runs full force into Anthony Davis and chests him and falls down and gets a foul when he fouled Davis. And then on the second play, he's dribbling down the court. He moves 2 or 3 feet over to the left and backs up into Anthony Davis. That was pretty pathetic there.
There you go. All right, hey, Chris, appreciate the call, and I agree. Yeah, the flailing and all this stuff, and it's...
As a person who loves soccer, I understand what he's saying. I understand what he's saying.
Get the aerosol can out and spray everyone, and all of a sudden you're magically healed.
Hey, man, those ankle shots are no joke, though, for real.
Those ankle shots. That's why you got shin guards, man. Tough it out.
Saying, man.
Hey, but... magically, they could get the aerosol can, they get sprayed, and they pop up like nothing ever happened.
They've got to limp it off, go to the touch line, and then immediately run back on and then score a goal after. I've seen that happen.
Probably hundreds of times.
Yes.
Flopping.
It's amazing.
Flopping McGee's over there.
But at least, in his, in the caller's defense, he's absolutely right. I think that part of James Harden's game makes it a little bit tougher to swallow because you don't see Steph Curry doing that type of stuff. Now, granted, he wants calls too. I mean, Steve Kerr has done his job of trying to get his guy calls. Guys like that in the league, I mean, that's just a part of the game now. I'm not saying that it's a big part of the game.
I just feel like Steph Curry's more of a sharpshooter.
Exactly.
So James Harden does not have those capabilities. He's got to slash.
No.
He'll chuck him. Look, he shot 13 threes against the Pelicans, went 4 of 13.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you're right. Like, he's definitely in the mold of a Carmelo Anthony, these guys who are high-volume shooters. I mean, that's just what they do, man. They just hack it up, and eventually they get hot.
Okafor should be a volume shooter. He should be in the game, and every time he touches the ball, just shoot it and call him a volume shooter. I bet you he'll make 40%.
I don't think he should be a volume shooter if he's only playing 10 minutes a night.
Well, if he's playing 10 minutes a night, every time he touches the ball, no matter where he is, just volume shoot. Anybody could be a volume shooter.
Anybody could be a volume shooter, but, I mean, he's clearly good at it.
Then they get yanked.
Yeah, and then they probably wouldn't be in the league that much longer.
11 of 28 is not good at volume shooting.
It's not good, but it's getting them wins.
I guess so. Well, when you got CP and you got some other pieces, things are working. But at least the Pelicans get fined. Gentry gets basically his message out. Maybe the next night subliminally. Human nature. They come out and referees are kinder. And guess what? They win handsomely against the Boston Celtics. Because that game, even though Boston was without Kyrie Irving, that game was nip and tuck for quite a while, and then all of a sudden you blinked and the Pelicans went up 20. I think that was fantastic to see, and it was really good to see Nico Mirotic get back into the fold because his stat line, oh my goodness, I saw Will Guillory's tweet before the game, 7 points a game. He was shooting, 29% from the field and 20% from three in his last 5 games? That wasn't good.
Well, and I even go so far as to say he's definitely not fully out of his slump. His just points total is looking a bit better. I mean, against the Rockets, he was 2 of 7 from the field, 1 of 5 from three, and against the Celtics, he was 4 of 12 from the field, 1 of 5 from three, and he went 7 of 9 from the line in that game and went 2 for 2 from the line. So his numbers... you could definitely tell he's in a slump, but one player I think we definitely should be talking about right now that's not getting the love he deserves is Cheick Diallo.
Absolutely. Why don't we do that at the other end of the break because he's a jolt of energy out there.
Wakanda forever!
I don't even know what that means.
Black Panther, dude.
I've never.
He does.
I might be the only person on the planet who's never seen Black Panther.
I mean, he does. Especially when he's hyped, he does the thing that they do whenever they see King T'Challa. Right there.
Clyde, I'm not that
and he's from Mali, so, I mean, it makes it even cooler.
I'm not that cool.
I know. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to get you hip to this.
I need all the help I can get.
That's what I'm talking about this now.
If it's not Ace of Base or the original Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, I don't know it.
Bat Dance?
What?
Bat Dance?
Bat Dance.
Yeah. By Prince. By Prince. Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know. All right, let's talk about Cheick Diallo and the good times for the Pelicans. You'll hear from Anthony Davis in the next segment after Sunday's 108-89 win over the Boston Celtics. So come on back. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Holder.
I've seen a lot of joy and I've seen a lot of pain, but I don't want to write a love song for the world. I just want to write a song about a boy and a girl.
With up to 16 chances a day, every weekday to win $1,000. A smart move would be to listen.
I'm a smart speaker, and I agree.
The keyword to text and win comes at the top of the hour.
The smart money is on.
Sports 1280, New Orleans.
O'Reilly. Save on your next oil change when you purchase 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic Motor Oil for $28.95, plus get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate and earn 200 bonus O Rewards points. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, Eric Ashwood, celebrity chef Scott Craig of Katie's. Scott, you have to be excited about Katie's expanded second floor seating and private dining rooms.
Yeah, but how about my vast local sports knowledge?
You know sports, but shouldn't we be talking about your award-winning Sunday brunch?
I'd rather talk about the Saints and the Pels.
How about your award-winning pizza or daily specials?
How about them Saints?
I admit you have a great take on local sports, but what about Katie's award-winning menu?
Okay, folks, I invite you to dine at Katie's. Eric and I don't have to brag about the food at Katie's. The food speaks for itself.
Katie's open 7 days a week in the heart of Mid-City at 3701 Apathy.
Enjoy great New Orleans food from 8 local restaurants right on the 18th hole. Plus the excitement of watching the greatest golfers in the world. Now that's a party. The Champions Club at the Zurich Classic, April 26th through 29th. For tickets, call today or visit ZurichGolfClassic.com.
Black Panther remains the #1 movie in the U.S. and Canada. The Disney Marvel superhero flick earned an additional $27 million this weekend. for a grand North American total of $605 million since its release 5 weeks ago. In second was the new Lara Croft film Tomb Raider, I Can Only Imagine in third place this week, A Wrinkle in Time in fourth, and Love, Simon in fifth. SNL kicked off this week's episode with a sketch that skewered the latest round of firings in the Trump administration and featured guest appearances by show veterans. John Goodman was on hand as ousted Secretary of State Rex Tillerson.
It's just crazy how one day you're the CEO of Exxon, and the next day you get fired by a man who used to sell steaks in the mail.
Bill Hader hosted the show and returned as Anthony Scaramucci as well. A Cirque du Soleil performer, Jan Arnaud, has died after he fell onto the stage during a performance in Florida. The company announced on Sunday. The statement explained that Jan was transported to the nearest hospital, later passed away from his injuries. Cirque du Soleil describes its new show Volta as adventurous, weaving acrobatics and action sports into a melodic score. And David Bowie is said to have debuted his Ziggy Stardust persona in the early 70s at a club called Friars in Aylesbury, a town in Buckinghamshire, England. Honoring his legacy, Aylesbury will unveil a David Bowie statue in the town's Market Square on Sunday, March 25th. That's entertainment. I'm Mike Bauer, NBC News Radio.
Baby, I'm playing on you tonight. Hunt you down, eat you alive.
This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Maybe you think that you can hide.
Pelicans wrap up the weekend, 108-89 winners over the Boston Celtics. I don't care if they didn't have Kyrie Irving. You look on that schedule and you could easily assume that that's a loss, and guess what? It's a win. And they needed it certainly because they're going to be coming up on this crazy stretch, play tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. So you needed to get a win in at least one of these two games. And when you had Spurs, Rockets, Celtics, 3 games in a row, say what you want about the Spurs, you'd have tough sledding anyway, but they picked up a big win last night. And Clyde, you were mentioning how Check Diallo, my goodness, where's this guy? He's like instant energy all of a sudden.
Absolutely.
And 7 of 9 from the field, 17 points off the bench, and they needed it. Look, Drew Holiday got shut down. That's a rarity. They clamped down on him, and he only scored 7 points and was only able to get off 5 shots and went 3 of 3 from the line. So they needed all the help they could get elsewhere. They got it from Mirotic with 16, Diallo with 17, but of course Anthony Davis 34, 14 of 24 from the field, 6 of 8 from the free throw line. And I'm wondering how much more are we going to see Diallo? He played 24 minutes last night. I feel like a lot of Pelicans fans are kind of been clamoring to see him play a little more. He's almost that talent that you want to see, but they're hesitant to put him in. And you see these good things, and it's in flashes. I'm curious to see how much more we see of Diallo going forward.
Well, I think the thing specifically about that second unit and how sometimes they'll intermingle with some guys from the starting group, I think when using Diallo's tendencies, which is to come off the bench and bring energy, and especially if you can have a night where you go 7 of 9, that is literally as perfect for a player like his caliber as you can get. That means that you are in key positions and key places where you need to be. You took your chances well, and when guys like Darius Miller, 3 points, Ian Clark, 8 points, Rondo, 4, Drew, 7, which the thing about Drew, though, the Celtics play really, really good guard defense.
Yes.
So without Kyrie Irving. I mean, because Kyrie is expected to play defense and score. While guys like, Terry Rozier and Jason Tatum, those guys are like, hey, get your points when you can, but like we need you to lock this guy down too. But for me, I think you've got to start getting Diallo more minutes. I mean, he played 23. He played 23 last night, and then against the Rockets, he only played 11, so basically 12 minutes. And then if you continue to give him minutes over the course of this stretch of the season, I really think that his energy, what he brings to the floor when he's on the floor, and like maybe if you can find a mismatch there, if you've got AD and him on the floor, maybe, and of course, we haven't even gotten to the fact that Solomon Hill played last night.
Right.
For the first time in months.
Played 8 minutes for the first time all season.
Yeah.
Played. So 8 minutes. He's going to become, at some point, that defensive stopper as much as they can. But no, you're right. Look, Diallo, plenty of those shots came around the rim because he's running the floor and people basically are like, where'd this guy come from? And he's sneaking behind the defense and getting some good shots. And so, imagine if you don't have his performance, there's no way. I would have thought there's no way Pelicans would even won this game because of how much they clamped down on Holiday. And you only had one more double-digit score in the offense in the first 5 with Etuan Moore's 11 points. So you needed all this help, and big win. And like I said, Clyde, they certainly need it, and the stretch is going to be quite interesting.
And it's not going to get any easier. This 3-game stretch is going to tell us a lot about this team going forward, specifically with the idea that not only are you talking about getting back, hopefully to this 5, 4, and 3 spots, but you're 4 games back of Portland right now, because it looks like, by all accounts, Portland, who's won 13 straight games now, they're not coming back down to earth, man. They are gunning for that 3 spot, but you're only 3 games behind Oklahoma City. And then you're tied with Utah, but Utah is a tiebreaker. So literally, you're going to be battling, from what it looks like right now, Utah, the Pelicans, and San Antonio, and Minnesota are all going to be kind of in this ebb and flow for those last 4 or 5 playoff seeds, in the hopes of being able to get and grab the ankle of one of those top teams in Oklahoma City or Portland.
And Utah's gone 9-1 of their last 10, have won 9 in a row, and it's gotten them to the 5 spot, and yet they're only a half game from being the 8th spot. And look, Denver's cooled off. The Clippers have still always kind of been up and down. So this Western Conference is certainly going to be down to the wire. We've got 12 games left for the Pelicans, and they're going to be playing 3 of those games in the next 4 days, 3 in a row. But Dave, if you got this ready, you got Anthony Davis, his press conference after the game. We're just going to play it all out, just hear his reaction. Here's Anthony Davis after last night's win over the Celtics.
First off, what do you think about Czech, just the way his season high tonight, just the way he played?
Playing well. He comes in with a lot of energy. He plays hard. He plays well for us. So he just wants to come in and just help the team any way possible, and whether it's defensively or offensively. He come up with big plays. I think he did a great job of guarding Greg Monroe tonight when he was on him, and then made some tough shots. So he played well tonight.
Just from his style of play and the way he celebrates and stuff like that, how fun is it for y'all when he's playing well off the bench?
It's fun to watch. He celebrates every different move, but he's definitely fun to watch.
How important is it when in this building, full house, kind of get that momentum and get,
I think it was just good for us because it was a good bounce back game for us. Tough one last night, and then come in number 1 defensive team and score on them, but then hold them to not sure what they had, but under 100. So it was good for us to kind of bounce back from last night and get this win.
How important was it, the minutes you guys have been playing, knowing the games you have coming up, for especially guys like you and Drew, to be able to sit down, manage your minutes, and still have a comfortable win like this?
Yeah, it was good. Drew only played 29, something like that. I played 33, so that was good for us, knowing the stretch is about to go into where we might play 40. So it was good to play under our normal minutes, have tomorrow off and get some rest, get some treatment, and be ready for Tuesday.
How good was it to have Solo back out there, considering how long he's been rehabbing?
That was good. Just his presence on the floor was amazing. I'm glad to see him back out there. He made a lot of right plays. He said he felt better than what he actually expected to feel, so which is good. But it was good to see him back on the floor.
How would you describe that fourth quarter and the way the game just flew wide open there?
We defended, and then we were pushing the pace, got into offense a little early, and was able to make some plays. Got some quick rim runs, got to make shots open. So I think I was just being aggressive, but we just defended. We got back to defending. Especially against a team like that who can score the basketball. We defended and were able to get out and run.
It seemed like in the first half, you got off to that really fast start. You're getting the lobs, then they adjusted, and in the second half, again, you were able to get back into the post for some easy baskets. What adjustment did you guys make to their defensive strategy?
Kind of get me on the move a little bit where they couldn't double. Even yesterday, they made adjustments and just tried to, double or deny me the ball. And so we made adjustments, put me on the move, and put me in places where you can't really double. And even if, caught in the post where they could, I just tried to go quick and then make the play out of that, whether it's a shot or to my teammates.
You heard plenty of our own Will Guillory asking plenty of questions. So, look, Pelicans talking about that next stretch coming up. Going to be starting on Tuesday, so should be interesting. So, hour number 1 is up. Hour number 2 is on the way. We'll talk Saints. We'll talk LSU Utah in the NIT. They win, and Washington wins. LSU will actually get another home game, so definitely we'll be talking about that. And your phone calls, 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved here. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Duncan Holder.
Come and show me that you're with it, with it, with it, with it, with it. Stop playing, now you know that I'm
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Open Jar. Attention current or retired railroad employees. If you or a loved one worked for the railroad and were diagnosed with any form of cancer, call the Railroad Employee Cancer Helpline now. You may be entitled to significant compensation. Exposure to benzene, asbestos, chemical solvents, and welding fumes can all cause cancer and are commonly found in the railroad work environment. Federal law allows employees to sue a railroad company if their injuries were caused by or contributed from the company's negligence. Injured employees can recover compensation costs for medical treatment and for the employee's lost income due to their injuries. If you or a loved one worked for the railroad and then developed cancer, call the Railroad Employee Cancer Helpline at 800-590-8915. Our network of attorneys have years of experience fighting for their clients' rights, and they're ready to fight for you. Time to file a claim is limited, so call now. 800-590-8915. That's 800-590-8915. 800-590-8915.
WODT WNOE FM HD2 New Orleans. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app. Search Sports 1280.
Fox Sports Trending now.
Breaking news this morning is the Cleveland Cavaliers announced that head coach Tyronn Lue stepping away from coaching for the time being to focus on health-related reasons. He's been having chest pains and other troubling symptoms. Says he wants to focus on getting healthier and return to the Cavs as soon as possible. His star, LeBron James.
I think it's probably well overdue. Understanding what he's been going through throughout the season. So obviously health is the most important with everything in life. I'm not surprised by it at all.
LeBron at this morning's shoot-around. Associate head coach Larry Drew will take over as interim head coach. Baseball, Twins starting shortstop Jorge Polanco has been suspended 60 games for testing positive for steroids. And the World Series champion Astros and AL MVP Jose Altuve have finalized his 7-year, $163.5 million contract. Patriots reportedly looking into acquiring receiver and kick returner Cordero Patterson from the Raiders. I'm Deb Carson.
We are Fox Sports. Your shot at $1,000 now.
Text the keyword BANK to 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeartRadio info.
Standard data and message rates apply.
That's BANK to 200-200.
Did you know with the free iHeartRadio app, you can type in the name of your favorite artist and get a station full of their biggest hits, including similar artists picked just for you, songs hand-picked by real people, fellow music fanatics. And as you thumb songs up or down, we personalize the station to fit you even better. It is that easy. Just type in the name of your favorite artist and let us get to work. It's the easy-to-use app for music and radio, and it couldn't be simpler. Download our free iHeartRadio app today.
Mr. Ed's Seafood and Italian Restaurant, serving the best fried chicken in town. Fresh Louisiana seafood as well as delicious Italian dishes. Try our daily chef specials or an overstuffed po' boy. Open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. with 2 locations to serve you. In Bucktown at 1001 Live Oak between Bonneville and Lake Avenue, or in Kenner at 910 West Esplanade at Chateau Boulevard. Let Mr. Ed's cater your next event. Mr. Ed's Seafood and Italian Restaurant. 2 great locations, 1 great menu. Mr. Ed's Oyster Bar and Fish House, now open in the quarter 7 days a week at 512 Bienville.
You know, before Boost, our phone bill was obscene. I had to hide it from the kids. So, we switched to Boost and got lines for the whole family with unlimited gigs for a much more family-friendly price. It's nice to have a phone bill that doesn't require parental controls.
Your family deserves better than scary phone bills. Get 4 lines for only $25 per line, each with unlimited gigs. Plus, get up to 4 free Samsung J7 perks with 6 months of Hulu, where you can stream all the shows everyone is talking about. All on the super reliable and super fast nationwide network. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
Offer ends 4/16/18. First line's $100 a month. Lines 2 to 4 free. Requires 1 line to port in. Includes unlimited talk, text, and data with video streams at up to 480p. Music at up to 500 kilobits per second. Gaming up to 2 megabits per second. Data deprioritization during congestion. Brief phones require port-in, purchase of eligible device, and activation on plans $50 or higher. Includes 6 months of access to 1 Hulu limited commercial plan per eligible line for new Hulu subscribers only. Additional restrictions apply. Terms at www.boostmobile.com/Hulu-terms. Coverage and offers not available everywhere. Restrictions apply.
The bright side to rising home prices, more Americans have equity in their homes. CoreLogic says total equity on homes with mortgages increased a collective 12%, or $908 billion in 2017. That's the biggest gain in 4 years. And 500,000 mortgage holders who were underwater in 2016 rose above the surface in 2017. A separate report by Adam Data Solutions says 25% fewer homeowners tapped that equity in the fourth quarter because of uncertainty about its deductibility under the new tax law. But the IRS has since clarified it is in most cases, so home equity loans are expected to come in higher this quarter. You might be spending some of that money on a new mattress, but they're shopping for that mattress, just like many other consumer products these days, more and more online.
People just don't like to shop for mattresses in a store. It's really awkward to be going into a store with a salesperson watching over you.
And a growing number of startups are aiming to cut out the middleman. Now there are almost 200 online mattress companies offering simplified options, free shipping and returns, and a generous trial period. An attempt to make the process as painless as possible. Brands promising a good night's sleep, and reviewers saying many live up to the hype.
These beds in a box really aren't a gimmick. We've seen mattresses come through our labs that are sold by these bed in a box companies that score very good or excellent across the board for a variety of sleep styles and sizes.
And as NBC's Liz McLaughlin reports, some online brands are partnering with brick and mortar retailers so you can try before you buy and have it shipped at the online price. Coming up in the business week ahead, it's the Federal Reserve's March meeting and the first one with Jerome Powell holding the gavel. Expectations are high. They'll raise short-term interest rates another 0.25% to between 1.5 and 1 3/4. After the announcement, Powell will give his first statement and news conference as Fed chair. Thursday's reports include the usual weekly jobless claims, February's economic indicators, and the market purchasing managers' reports. And Friday, it's February's durable and capital goods orders and new home sales. Consumer and business news. Joe McConnell, NBC News Radio.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace, learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Dunc and Holder on a Monday, March 19th. Larry Holder, Clyde Verdun, Dave DeCourbier back at our iHeart Studios. Jeff Duncan scheduled to come back over the pond and be back for Wednesday's show, I think. I still don't know if that's actually true because he says, I'll be back by Tuesday. I'll be back by Wednesday, meaning he's been detained for stealing the Queen's crown.
Which again, that you cannot do. Literally, you cannot do it.
I bet you it's possible.
I'm telling you, as a person who's seen the crown jewels in person, you cannot do it.
That's why you'd have like someone like Mr. Gru steal it from Despicable Me. They could just have a minion to distract them, and you could steal it.
I would expect nothing less from a parent of you bringing up Despicable Me at this show.
I mean, they steal things all the time. Why can't Jeff figure out a way to do it?
Because that's a fictional cartoon movie.
I hear a real human voice on it.
Yeah, because Steve Carell is a fantastic voice actor.
Right, and he's a real person, so hence it's real. By transitive property, he's real.
Don't think that's how that works.
Okay, I've got a random rant I'm gonna have later on in the show. It's gonna be
here we
random.
go. So it's gonna be as terrible as the last rant you went on.
It's gonna be a very random rant.
Great,
very random. That it's just it's bugging me, and I don't know why that this is actually a thing.
How is this bugging you today?
It just bugs me every day, and I just randomly thought about it between the top of the hour break. So I'll bring in my rant later on today.
I can't wait to see where this train is going to eventually go over the tracks into the mountain.
No doubt about it. So if you want to get involved in the show, 504-260-1280. Talk a lot of Pelicans. If you missed any of hour number one, sports1280.com, NOLA.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube page. And even though it's taxing, Clyde still gets the job done. It's some
Should be a lot easier today, hopefully.
On NOLA.com. Yes, I would say probably a little easier today in the next few days. But no, we're going to switch gears here. Talk some New Orleans Saints, and you're through the first wave of free agency right now. And if you haven't noticed, the Saints have been heavily active. And how much money have they spent? How much money do they have left? It depends on your resource, because some contracts aren't in yet, and so people don't have a good sense. Basically, the Saints don't have a lot of money to play with. I'll just leave it to you that way. They figure out ways to do it when you have, say, Thomas Morstead sign a contract extension, and that will eventually soften his salary cap number. It's going to be $4.8 million to this year's cap, and I'm sure that number is going to be reduced, but you could see that move coming because you weren't getting rid of Thomas Morstead anytime soon, and he's still one of, if not the best punter in the NFL. And so you make that move in anticipation of trying to land someone like Ndamukong Suh. And it's been a mixed bag because, look, all weekend long, whether I was at the Irish Channel Parade or marching in the night parade throughout the Bywater and into the Maroney, every time someone saw me and stopped me, all I heard, my back would be turned, and someone would just see me and scream out, "When are we signing Suh? When are we signing Suh?" Everyone wants to know. And I do think, though, that people smartly may have some reservations on this. Not because he's not a stud player, but the money and the issues of being a team guy. All of it you've read during his time with Miami, that he was a me guy, and it just doesn't. And I think the way it was coined with the visit, which did happen, he's left. He's already visited Tennessee since visiting New Orleans. He's left there, and according to several reports, he'll be heading to Los Angeles to visit with the Rams. And the quote-unquote fit visit, and I liken it to Muhammad Wilkerson, and the Saints wanted to see if he would fit there. My guess is that the Saints were not willing to go in on Wilkerson, and probably Wilkerson, who did the one-year deal up in Green Bay, he's had his issues in New York. I don't think New Orleans would help the issues, and Green Bay is a place where you go and clean up your image a little bit because there's not that much to do in Green Bay. So I think, now I don't know if that's necessarily, I'm not going to say it's apples to apples with Suh and Wilkerson, but they want to see what kind of fit he would be with the Saints because they have a good locker room. There's no point in disrupting this thing. They've added some good pieces already, but it hasn't been from a guy with this type of reputation. So, look, there's been pictures of Sean Payton and Suh. Someone took a sneaky pic, put it on Facebook, and it's spread where they were having some sort of meal at the Ritz. And so they certainly met up. Because I was wondering, when he was scheduled to visit, Payton was in California, in Los Angeles, we assume at UCLA's Pro Day. But he was able to get back here and visit with Suh before he left. And so I'm curious to see where this goes, honestly. I'm curious to see how much money is going to be spent. If we see a giant contract come from somewhere like Tennessee, you got to just say, well, Saints, A, couldn't afford it, and B, didn't want to make the room. But if the numbers are small, then and the Saints don't land him, you're wondering, what happened here? I think there's a curiosity there that I think is going to go forward. And we've seen Saints chase after big-name guys, sign them. Look, we've seen it not work out, obviously. Adrian Peterson. But F. Still got an F.
My grades.
Grades.
F. He got an F.
He got an F. One of 3 Fs on my 2017 grades. But I'm just curious to see how this pans out. You figure usually if you get the first visit, you're in line, but Suh is a guy who likes to chase opportunities as far as maximizing his value. If you go to Los Angeles, you're a huge name on the Rams team that's coming off of playoffs. Maybe he wants to cash in, but it's the same argument people have always tried to make with Drew Brees. How much money is enough? Because Suh has been paid and paid and paid, and how much money is enough when he's on the back end of his career, he's in his 30s, and is winning a priority for him? Now, Clyde, you could argue yes, because all three teams he's looking at all went to the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
But some of them have far more financial incentives than the Saints, because Tennessee has $40 million in cap room. The Rams have nearly $30 million in cap room. The Saints are looking for pennies in the couch right now.
And I mean, I guess the question I had for you specifically, and I guess for callers, is it seems like this free agency season has been about the threes. What three teams are you, I guess, most interested in, or the ones that you think would offer the most money? I'm not necessarily surprised the Saints aren't involved, and I guess, like you said, the Rams and Titans, all three offer something in winning that he hasn't had neither at Detroit, or consistent winning at Detroit, nor in Miami. But at the same time, though, I really go back to our interview with Josh last week about his off-the-field business ventures.
And Josh Katzenstein, our colleague at NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune, he covered the Lions and covered Suh while he was with the Lions, so he has kind of a feel for how Ndamukong Suh operates.
Yeah, and I mean, and I went back to look and do some research on when I was writing the post for last Friday in haste to really understand what kind of business ventures he was talking about, and specifically, Ndamukong Suh is very versed in diversifying his business portfolio, having it in real estate, technology, and in the restauranting business. He is part owner, or he's a franchisee of this restaurant that I think started in Lincoln, Nebraska, that he's gotten on a couple other places. And I really think that specifically, if he is looking to get the most value out of everything that he wants to do, New Orleans is probably not going to be that place. So you
if
might
he
as
wants
well
a restaurant, come on in.
Yeah. I mean,
we're not saturated enough.
We're not saturated enough with restaurants that are closing. Opening hundreds of restaurants in a year, and then how many of them close? We have to get Todd Price on,
or Brett Anderson.
Yeah. I don't know if the Saints are going to be that group for him, even though that shouldn't be a deal breaker by any means. But going to LA or possibly Tennessee, and the links obviously between his former D-line coaches in Tennessee, right?
Yes.
So there's a connection there, and then Los Angeles is Los Angeles, man. It's going to have that pull. It's Hollywood. It's Tinseltown. It has that. It has two of those things that unfortunately New Orleans doesn't have, but that doesn't make it any less of an attractive destination, because if you were to look at where the Saints are currently in the NFC South, I think the Saints have a better opportunity to be a consistent threat to win the division, to get a high enough playoff seed, and to actually do damage in the playoffs. I worry about what the West is going to look like going forward, and what the Rams are going to look like in 2018 after what they did this past year with such a quick turnaround. And then with Tennessee just seems like an up and down team that got hot and played the right team in the playoffs in the Chiefs and was able to get past that round.
I feel like Drew Brees would bring me enough incentive. If I'm going to pick anyone, I would pick him.
Yeah.
And you would play. Look, if Suh were to go play for Los Angeles and he's playing next to Aaron Donald, my goodness. I saw a tweet a little while ago, and it's so true. Seattle better work on that offensive line, because Russell Wilson, you think he's running for his life already?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And they won't be able to run the football against them either. But I'm thinking the Saints are leery on the locker room stuff. They have passed on people before and have cut bait and bit tens of millions of dollars in all of this. Junior Galette, Brandon Browner, they've eaten a ton of money to get rid of guys that didn't work out, and they did it knowing the repercussions of cap situations. And do they want to do that here with Suh? And also, does Suh want to come to New Orleans? I think he's right in saying he's got a lot to weigh, and I think he does. And more power to him. If he wants to chase money, you're damn right you chase money. How many times have I said on this show, Clyde, that if you're a football player, chase the money, because at some point this career is going to be over for you. Chase the money. Maximize your value. I have no problem with that. But for someone like Ndamukong Suh, who has chased the money and been handsomely rewarded multiple times in his career with huge contracts, and rightfully so, he's one of the best players defensively in the last decade. When is it enough? Do you really feel like, I've chased enough? Do I want to win?
Yeah.
And I think for the Saints' case, that has to be the driving force. We're presenting an opportunity for you to win in a football haven where you could become revered in New Orleans as opposed to Detroit. People look at you, Miami, people have already forgotten about you.
Yeah.
You're forgotten already.
The same will happen in L.A.
Same will happen in L.A. You come here, you get a chance to play with a bona fide Hall of Famer, a great offense, and a defense that's becoming better by the day with acquisitions. Do you want to be a part of that?
And specifically, and I would imagine, or at least you would figure the Saints would do, and maybe soften it up a bit, but say, look, if you want to come to the Saints, if you want to come to a winner, if you're ready to follow specifically a real leader in Drew Brees, if you're ready to follow a guy like Cam Jordan, then this is the best place for you. You want to be a winner, you can be a winner here. And I guess my question after this is that if he goes to Los Angeles and then goes to Tennessee after that, and there's nothing solidified, do you think he chooses between those three, or do you think he goes, or there's another team that maybe comes in out of the wings, like a Cleveland or something crazy like that?
I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think
do
he's going to go.
Do you think it's going to be between these three?
I don't think he's going to go to some bottom feeder because, look, Miami, they weren't. Maybe they thought they were in a win now mode or whatever. I just think he knew, okay, Miami opened up the wallet and he went there. And it's Miami. Give me a break.
Yeah.
It's Miami. So I think he did
people
that.
tear that down.
Yeah, and all you got to do is look at the three teams. They all went to the playoffs. So I do think that being on a successful team is part of the priority for him. But I'm curious to see as the World Tour continues, and Ndamukong Suh going to be visiting the Los Angeles Rams, already visited the Saints, and already visited the Tennessee Titans. All
and then as quickly as one YouTuber brings up, he is from Portland. He is a West Coast guy. How much of wanting to get back to the West Coast is important for him?
And maybe he should go to Seattle. I don't know if they're going to do that, though.
Yeah, the Legion of Boom is dead.
Yes.
So
yes.
Not sure you're going to want to go to the Legion of Whiff.
Well, they've gotten rid of so many people now with Richard Sherman and Michael Bennett and all kinds of other players. Maybe they just need someone else to get in there and cause a little havoc.
Mix it up a little bit.
Exactly. So no, they're in rebuild mode. I don't think they're going to be going for Suh. All right, let's take a break right here on the show. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. And want to spell out Tom Benson's will was made public over the weekend, and it's about as cut and dried as you probably would assume, but let's spell it out a little bit and talk about what that means. And as of now, all things point to Gail Benson being the owner. Look, the owners' meetings are in a couple of weeks. Actually, they're a week away. I'll be in Orlando covering that. So I'll be out. Next week I will be off the show the entire week. I'll be giving updates from Orlando. So that's a week away. I'm curious to see, how this is handled by the Saints. Obviously, tough situation, and we all know that for Tom Benson, visitation is later on this week, and the funeral is Friday at St. Louis Cathedral, which you would assume there as well. So, all right, we'll spell some of that out and touch on some other topics coming up next here. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Holder.
What's wrong with being confident?
Eric Asher bringing you the truth every day, noon to 2 on Sports 1280. Of course, you can also check me out on the television side, the award-winning Inside New Orleans Sports. Won a Press Club Award back in 2015 for the best TV sports show.
Eric Asher, weekdays, noon to 2, Sports 1280 New Orleans.
You get a strong opinion each and every day.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-798-2477. 800-798-2477. 800-798-2477.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Attention shoppers, clean up on aisle 14. Clean up on aisle 14. Someone dropped a jar of pickles. Kosher pickles.
Beatboxing at a big box store. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
A red minivan has the lights on in the parking lot.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Geico.
A pair of 2 seeds, a 1 seed, and a 3 seed see their seasons end at the NCAA tournament with losses Sunday. Defending champion and 2 seed North Carolina bounced with a loss to Texas A&M. The 1 seed Xavier blew a late lead, losers to Florida State. 2 seed Cincinnati, losers to Nevada. The 3rd seed Michigan State beaten by Syracuse. Meanwhile, Kansas State puts an end to the 16th seed Baltimore County Cinderella run with a win in the South region in Charlotte. UMBC head coach Ryan Odom on being the first 16 seed to ever get a win in the tournament.
Certainly in the NCAA tournament, just to be here is a blessing.
The Sweet 16 tips off Thursday. In the NBA, Russell Westbrook, 37 points and a triple-double. The Thunder top the Raptors, 132-125 in Toronto, ending the 11-game winning streak for the Raptors. And Rory McIlroy fires in tournament 18 under to win the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. Ahead of next month's Masters at Augusta, Tiger Woods finishing in 5th place at 10 under. That's sports. Jake Orwin, NBC News Radio.
As you all know, our Relay for Life event is right around the corner. We're taking on our biggest rival, cancer. It will be a tough fight, but we have the home team advantage. Let's help the American Cancer Society help those with cancer. Join us at relayforlife.org and help attack cancer in our community.
This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Tom Benson's will and last testament includes that he wanted his wife, Gail Benson, as sole beneficiary and that he left no inheritance to his daughter, Renee Benson, or grandchildren, Rita and Ryan LeBlanc. We had Catherine Sayre on, who's been covering the ins and outs of the Benson legal battle, and we had her on Friday after the news of Tom Benson's passing, and she said that the will would be made public, and there it was. And so, as we expected, that everything would be left to Gail. And this was filed, the will was signed July 27th, 2015. And the timing was certainly right in Tom Benson's eyes, because this was a little more than a month after Orleans Civic District Judge Kern Reese ruled him competent in a legal battle with his daughter and grandchildren. And, of course, they were accusing him of not being mentally state of mind to change everything and go against the trust. And so, basically, here's the quote from the will saying, I specifically provide that Renee Benson, Rita LeBlanc, and Ryan LeBlanc and all of their descendants shall have no interest in my succession whatsoever, and no legacy or other inheritance or benefit of any kind shall be paid to any of them under this will or otherwise. And the will was signed and witnessed by 2 attorneys and Archbishop Gregory Amon. So they did this once the ruling came down that he was competent. And we were talking with Catherine Sayre last week, wondering if the 3 R's would challenge this will. And I'm no legal expert, but the fact he did this after he was deemed legally competent, well, I don't know if there's any wiggle room there. I really don't.
Yeah, it seems pretty airtight. I mean, from
at least on that end,
on that
will,
end, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be hard to see. It's going to be hard, if anything, to see how they would try to contest or what legal avenues they might have. And of course, I'm sure that there are lawyers out there and legal experts who would say that there's probably maybe some kind of loophole. But I mean, again, if it goes back to what we talked about with Catherine in terms of the undisclosed financial settlement that was reached with the 3, Renee, Rita, and Ryan, what that means for them going forward, and then how, I guess, Tom Benson said that after his death they'll be very well compensated or something close to those lines. What that means for them and what that means for the end of the saga, because it seems like on every level this could be a very open shut case.
You would think, because if there's a settlement and we don't know all the details, then it's settled. And could they go back after it? I don't know. I think that's the looming question. I don't think anything would happen this week, given the visitation is Wednesday and Thursday, and then the funeral is going to be Friday. So I would think we wouldn't know anything, and probably if something were to happen, we wouldn't know anything until next week. But look, it's I could tell you, though, that on Airline Drive, they're moving forward as if Gail is owning the team. Dennis Lauscha and Mickey Loomis are foreseeing everything that's going on. Of course, Greg Benson is also, and he was named as part, if something were to happen, Mickey and Greg were going to be part of it, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case as far as having to run the daily. It's kind of mumbo-jumbo, but moral of the story is they're moving forward, and until something were to legally change, which I don't know if I'd say I'd be surprised if something were to legally change. Look, it'd be Gail Benson's team, and they kind of move forward. Sorry. All right, let's hit the phone lines. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. Let's go to Brian in New Orleans. Hey, Brian, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What you got?
Hey, guys. I was calling about Benson's will. And as far as the grandchildren and his daughter coming in and contesting it, back in 2015 when they had the competency hearing, wasn't that case, I guess, settled, if you will, by them receiving essentially assets or their portion of the inheritance for them to just go away, and then the remainder of the assets would then be solely left to Gail?
That was part of it, and yet there was still I guess a legal debate on what they would count as assets. They did not want to have basically they had some promissory notes, and some in the legal system were saying that doesn't count. Basically, you can't write IOUs, basically is what they were saying. And so because there's been parts of it that was settled in 2015, but then there were still some things open up in the air, and we don't know exactly what's what. I mean, that's not spelled out in the will, and that's a legal settlement, so I guess that doesn't have much to do with it. Like I said, I'm not some gigantic legal expert here, but there's been settlements along the way, but yet there's been questions within some of this, so it wasn't all resolved by the thing in 2015. But look, yeah, that competency hearing, I mean, that's why you're able to do this will. And as far as challenging the will, because it's more than just teams, I'd see a hard time for that to happen, but who knows? I don't know the ins and outs, but I think that's why people are just assuming, and that I would assume this is going to be the case, that Gail's going to be the owner, and the 3 R's have been compensated through a settlement. But if they come back after it, maybe we'll learn more. So, but yeah, as of now, I bet you league owners meetings, I know Dennis Lauscha and Mickey Loomis and Sean Payton, they'll be all at the owners meetings next week. I don't know about Gail, but she has been going to owners meetings and being involved for the last few years to get prepared for this. We've talked with Tom Benson a few times at these owners meetings, and that was by design. This is going back to 2015 when all of this started rumbling, and Gail was more involved in actually going into some of the sessions and being involved in some of these things to kind of get a know-all. But look, as far as Gail, Dennis Lauscha is always going to be there as guidance. Mickey Loomis is always going to be there, and that's Benson's circle of trust, and that's not going to change.
Because they're named for a reason in it, because they're clearly the three closest lieutenants to him.
Absolutely.
In the organization. And I mean, obviously going into Gail last week released a statement to Pelicans and Saints fans. I'll try to get through this really quickly. While we are heartbroken by the loss of my husband, we are also tremendously grateful for the overwhelming love and prayers we continue to receive. Tom Benson's love for his teams was rooted in his love for the fans. There was nothing he enjoyed more than greeting fans on game days, driving around training camp practices to shake hands, or seeing so many loyal fans welcoming the team back from road trip, win or lose. He felt a special connection to our incredible fan base because he truly felt like a fan himself, a hardworking, passionate New Orleanian who loved everything about this city. Following the Super Bowl victory, his first order of business was figuring out how he could share the Lombardi Trophy with as many of you as he could. He vowed that our trophy would be the most traveled, touched, and photographed in the history of the NFL in order that a tour of the Gulf South be scheduled so that as many fans as possible could have their turn with it. To his very last day, Tom Benson's greatest hope was to bring more championships to our fans. I want you to know we are more committed than ever to make his hopes a reality. We will never forget his belief in what truly powers our teams, our fans. I would like to assure you that we planned carefully for this day, and while my husband could never be replaced, I am blessed to be surrounded by a wonderful leadership team and a staff, and we will move forward successfully together. We cannot thank you enough for all of the joy you gave my husband, and will continue to do everything within our power to make you proud of our teams and city. Thank you for your continued prayers and support as we celebrate my husband's extraordinary life. Most of all, thank you for your unwavering devotion to our teams and city. I look forward to sharing many more special times together. Gail Benson, owner, New Orleans Saints and New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, so it's a tough turnaround because, I mean, I don't know if she's going to be there. I think it doesn't matter if she's at the owners' meetings or not because the funeral's Friday. She doesn't want to turn around and get on a plane and go to Orlando. And, I mean, of course, Dennis and Mickey, they're well-versed in all of these things, and they would be there anyway. So
there's no need.
No.
Let her grieve. Let the family grieve. She's going to be involved enough in matters going forward. I mean, it's unfortunate that, the timing of this is so close to the owners' meetings, but clearly she's going to be involved. She'll have NBA meetings to go to as well. So this is just the start of the process, but there's no need to rush into it. She's the owner of the teams. That's what the will says. Last will and testament. That's where you go.
And that's the plan going forward. And I'd be stunned if it changed course at this rate. I'd be stunned. So, all right, let's take a break right here on the show. When we get back, got some college basketball action. LSU still in postseason. UNO, they're still in postseason. I think they play tonight. Am I right?
They do. They play Campbell in North Carolina tonight.
In the CBI, so we'll touch a little bit on that. And then I've got to complain about something in the final segment. Or maybe not complain about something, but maybe I'm just mystified by something that I see along the streets throughout the city. And I wonder, how does this even help anyone? I don't get it. That's my tease to Clyde. You should see how troubled he looks right now. That's the whole point. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. We're Duncan Holder.
Your forecast on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
This report is brought to you by Stand Up to Cancer.
From the Fox 8 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Bruce Katz. Today will be a mostly cloudy day. A few scattered showers around at 20%. Going to be warm, too, the high of 82. Now, tonight, a front moves in. Overnight lows after midnight drop to the 50s. And then tomorrow for Tuesday, a good-looking day. Sunshine returns. High in the upper 60s on Wednesday as well. And the overnight lows for Wednesday and Thursday morning, get this, back to the 40s north and 50s south. From the Fox 8 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Bruce Katz with your Weather Authority forecast.
I'm Tony Goldwyn. 20 years ago, when my mom had lung cancer,
She didn't have many choices, but today you do. If you've been diagnosed with lung cancer, please visit standuptocancer.org/lungcancer to learn more.
You know, before Boost, our phone bill was obscene. I had to hide it from the kids. So, we switched to Boost and got lines for the whole family with unlimited gigs for a much more family-friendly price. It's nice to have a phone bill that doesn't require parental controls.
Your family deserves better than scary phone bills. Get 4 lines for only $25 per line, each with unlimited gigs. Plus, get up to 4 free Samsung J7 perks with 6 months of Hulu, where you can stream all the shows everyone is talking about. All on the super reliable and super fast nationwide network. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
Offer ends 4/16/18. First lines $100 a month. Lines 2 to 4 free. Requires 1 line to port in. Includes unlimited talk, text, and data with video streams at up to 480p. Music at up to 500 kilobits per second. Gaming up to 2 megabits per second. Data deprioritization during congestion. Brief phones require port-in, purchase of eligible device, and activation on plans $50 or higher. Includes 6 months of access to 1 Hulu limited commercial plan per eligible line for new Hulu subscribers only. Additional restrictions apply. Terms at www.boostmobile.com/Hulu-terms. Coverage and offers not available everywhere. Restrictions apply.
O'Reilly.
Save on your next oil change when you purchase 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic Motor Oil for $28.95, plus get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate and earn 200 bonus O Rewards points. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Attention all high school student athletes. April is Financial Literacy Month, and the Turk Foundation, in conjunction with Turk Sports, is hosting its first annual 2018 Best of the Boot Awards and Video Essay Scholarship Competition. All high school senior student athletes are eligible from the New Orleans metropolitan area with a minimum of 2.5 GPA. All videos must be submitted via WeTransfer at turksports.org on or before April 2nd, 2018 at 11:59 p.m. For more information, visit turksports.org. That's turksports.org.
Whether you bless those boys or take flight, we're talking your teams. Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Let's hit the phone lines. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. Let's head over to Metairie and talk with Brother. Hey, Brother, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What you got?
How you guys doing today on a Monday?
We're good.
Great, brother.
What's the deal with Ndamukong Suh? He was here Friday. He left, okay, and then he went to Tennessee. Do we know anything else about him?
Other than he's left here, he's left Tennessee, and he is reportedly heading to visit the Los Angeles Rams. So 3 playoff teams, 2 teams with some salary cap space, 1 team with just New Orleans charm to woo him, I think, because the Saints don't exactly have a ton of salary cap space available, but they always seem like magicians somehow. It's almost like the salary cap never even matters to the Saints. They kick the can down the line for the next decade.
So it looks right now, if you had to guess, it looks like we probably won't sign him, correct?
I don't know that, honestly. I'm not sure. So it's up to him, honestly. It depends on what he wants to do, and if the Saints feel like he's a fit, and that's how the visit was described, basically to see if he would fit with New Orleans. I likened it to what they did with Muhammad Wilkerson, honestly. Bring him in, talk with him face-to-face, see what he is, and see where they go from here.
You guys have a great day.
All right, brother. Appreciate the phone call. And, look, it's the name, it's the big fish, it's the boy, oh boy. What do you want? Do you want to risk any of this? Do you want to dive in on this money train, or do you move past and say, all right, I think we're good enough, and we just go from here? I think it's an interesting debate, and when your window is what it is, and doesn't matter what anyone says on Airline Drive, you have a window, and it's 2 years with Drew Brees, and Ndamukong Suh is a win-now move. And the Saints are in win-now mode. And Sean Payton would argue they're always in a win-now mode, and I get that. But you're really in a win-now mode now. And I feel like I've said this for the past 6 or 7 years, and it hasn't happened. But now we've seen kind of the fruits of their labor as far as the last couple of off seasons, making some good moves in the draft, being smart in free agency. Is Suh a smart move? And I have my doubts. I just have my doubts with this. Monetarily, is it a smart move? Having him around, is that a smart move? I'm not certain. I'm not sold. So I don't know. Depends on the price. If it's through the roof, of course it's not a good move. I was on board with bringing in Jimmy Graham at a certain price. I was on board with bringing in a Malcolm Butler at a certain price. So price is going to matter with this. But you also got to deal with the player, just like Muhammad Wilkerson. Same boat.
I mean, I think that's what makes this entire process so interesting, because there is so much up in the air consistently with money, with price, what's the right price, what's the sweet spot, and then the psychology of the makeup of a player. How important is winning to you? How important is being on a team with Hall of Famers so that you get that maybe one magical run that you haven't had in your career that you want to be able to say that you also experienced before, your career eventually ends, depending on how it ends. But I mean, I think people have enough questions specifically about how Suh could be a part of the Saints, but I think it also brings it back to questions about the Saints and picking up guys in the draft. And this was a question that came through on Twitter from Thomas Johnson. Off subject here, Larry, but what pass rush specialist do you think might be available at our pick in this year's draft? I know with having such a success last year, we should go best available, but it seems we lack that guy that can get there and sack the QB. Because again, it's going back to the defense, because there's so much talk around bringing in defensive guys, as we talked about last week with Patrick Robinson and with Demario Davis, and now we're possibly talking about bringing in Suh. Or what could you do in the draft? Bringing in another defensive guy to also help with the rush.
Right. I've had my mock draft up since early this morning, and the second one I've done, and both times I have mocked Ohio State defensive end Sam Hubbard at number 27 overall, and I've pondered many positions at that point. I think just because I put defensive end there doesn't necessarily mean they have to go defensive end there. I think it's certainly best player available. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But as far as in free agency, who's left? Look, I think they made their signing at bringing back Alex Okafor, but it's not 100% that he's going to be the same guy. When is he going to be recovered? I mean, that is not an injury that you could take lightly with an Achilles tear. So you have to prepare yourself, and people are responding to my selection of Sam Hubbard. Well, don't you already have Trey Hendrickson, and don't you already have maybe Al-Qadim Muhammad, and you still got Haoli Kikaha? But I don't know if those guys are a given. Can I say Trey Hendrickson is going to come in and be a pass rush guy and be a every down guy? I don't know, but if Sam Hubbard's the best player available, he's the best player available, and you take him. I even also said in my explanation, if Baker Mayfield's there, I'm taking Baker Mayfield. And a lot of people have mocked him to the Saints in certain mock drafts. I would not have a single problem if they took Baker Mayfield at number 27 overall. I think he's going to be excellent in the NFL. Now, is he
going to be at 27?
Is he a little cocky? Is say Sean Payton and Baker Mayfield going to be crotch chopping at the Atlanta Falcons? I don't know.
I hope not.
I don't know.
I hope not.
They might be on the cocky train for all I know.
Well, I mean, this isn't college, though. You're not playing Iowa State. You're not playing and I mean, I use Iowa State specifically because that's unfair to them, because they actually beat Oklahoma. So you're not playing Kansas. You're not going to be playing college. I mean, these teams this is the best of the best. Like, if you want, I mean, it's one thing to have attitude, it's one thing to have confidence in yourself. But if you're going to come to the league and want to do some of that mess that you do, that unfortunately Sean Payton's gotten caught doing, you're not going to get very far. Well, these guys have very long memories when it comes to that stuff, and we know it.
Well, Saints have a good offensive line, so maybe they'll protect him.
Yeah.
But when will he even be playing? I think that's the other question.
Right.
But I know people are screaming, no, don't draft a quarterback there. At some point, you're going to have to do it. At some point, I know they've got Tom Savage and Taysom Hill, yada, yada, yada. Come on. If Baker Mayfield's at 27, I'm going. People are also asking me, what about tight end? I'm leery of taking a tight end at that point. I think that you could give plus and minuses to all the tight ends. I do feel like they're specifically 4 top tight ends. They'll be taken somewhere between the first and second round. If the Saints had a second-round pick, I'd feel comfortable, no problem taking a tight end. But I don't know who's going to – I don't have a good sense of who's head and shoulders above everyone. So it's again, I got 3 more mock drafts I probably have to do by the end of draft season.
That's like 3 more graphics per person I've got to make. It's gonna be like 20.
Poor Clyde, we're putting you to heavy work.
So much.
I know. All right, let's take a break right here on the show. Final segment coming up. We'll dive in a little bit on LSU and Utah playing tonight in the NIT. And I got to get something off my chest. I just got to do it. Clyde's ready. He has no idea what direction this is going.
No idea.
That's why I do these things. I just spur the moment on you, Clyde, just to make sure I boggle your mind.
Fair enough. I can't wait. I can't wait to take off this headset and walk out of this building shaking my head.
No, I've got a feeling you're going to agree with my rant.
Okay.
I've got a feeling.
All right, we'll see.
Because what I've got to rant about, it's pointless. I don't even know why it exists. I'll just give that's another tease.
I cannot wait
you
for
don't
this.
Even know where to go.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's probably going to be awesomely pitiful like some of my other rants.
Can't be as bad as the last one.
Why? What was the matter with the last one?
Because it was so bad.
I don't even remember what the last one was.
It was about The Bachelor.
Oh, that's right.
It was so bad.
Clay Harbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So terrible.
That one was a top-read story on NOLA.com. Not terrible. I gave the people what they want.
I'm going to do it again here next. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Older.
With up to 16 chances a day, every weekday to win $1,000. A smart move would be to listen.
I'm a smart speaker, and I agree.
The keyword to text and win comes at the top of the hour.
The smart money is on.
Sports 1280, New Orleans.
You know, before Boost, our phone bill was obscene. I had to hide it from the kids. So, we switched to Boost and got lines for the whole family with unlimited gigs for a much more family-friendly price. It's nice to have a phone bill that doesn't require parental controls.
Your family deserves better than scary phone bills. Get 4 lines for only $25 per line, each with unlimited gigs. Plus, get up to 4 free Samsung J7 perks with 6 months of Hulu where you can stream all the shows everyone is talking about. All on the super reliable and super fast nationwide network. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
Offer ends 4/16/18. First lines $100 a month. Lines 2 to 4 free. Requires 1 line to port in. Includes unlimited talk, text, and data with video streams at up to 480p. Music at up to 500 kilobits per second. Gaming up to 2 megabits per second. Data deprioritization during congestion. Brief phones require port-in, purchase of eligible device, and activation on plans $50 or higher. Includes 6 months of access to 1 Hulu limited commercials plan per eligible line for new Hulu subscribers only. Additional restrictions apply. Terms at www.boostmobile.com/Hulu-terms. Coverage and offers not available everywhere. Restrictions apply.
The 4 for $4 from Wendy's has a lot of fans because it's a deal that gives you a sandwich plus 4 nuggets, a small fry, and drink, all for just $4. But now the 4 for $4 has more variety than ever with 8 sandwich choices.
I'm loyal to the double stack.
I'm Junior Bacon Cheeseburger through and through.
I pledge myself to the crispy chicken sandwich. I'm loyal to my hunger.
Whether you're loyal to one sandwich or all 8, the Wendy's 4 for $4 has a sandwich for you. So try them all and pick your favorite. Now that's deliciously different.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time. Offer not valid in Alaska and Hawaii.
It's a new way to party with friends under the umbrellas or on the new sky deck watching great golf. Enjoy fresh oysters, fried seafood, and cocktails. The Acme Oyster House, right on the course at the Zurich Classic, April 26th through 29th. For tickets, call today or visit ZurichGolfClassic.com.
Google is launching a program where retailers can list their goods on Google Search, Express Shopping, and Assistant. In return, Google gets a cut from every sale. The company is hoping the move will lead to more purchases by customers looking for products across a range of devices with voice search. The program is called Shopping Actions and will be available to retailers of any size. The idea was born when Google noticed more and more people were using its search engine to send pictures of products and looking for where they could buy them. Searches like that on mobile devices have jumped over 85% over the past 2 years. It's also a way for Google to compete with Amazon by offering more alternatives to consumers. And the much anticipated arrival of Samsung's latest smartphone is here. The Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus is now available to consumers with an off-contract price between $720 and $840. That just so happens to be a few $100s less than the iPhone X. Samsung is offering a trade-in promotion of up to $350 with most carriers. The S9 is available in gray, blue, black, and lilac. Tech Update. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
I got that sunshine in my
Dunc and Older now. Eric Asher next at noon on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
I can't take my eyes off of it.
All right, I'm anticipating less fireworks, fewer fireworks, whatever the proper grammar is, when LSU takes on Utah tonight.
I don't know why. Do you realize that they're going up against a coach who was tossed from his game?
I didn't realize he was tossed. I just remember hearing that he tossed a chair, I guess, that got him tossed, or he got tossed and then made a toss.
Yeah. A lot of tossing.
Lots of toss squared.
Yeah. Toss times 2.
So I guess they're not going to be brawling each other.
No, probably not. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this is the next round of the NIT. It's just the NIT. It's fine.
What do you mean it's just the NIT? If you were still working for LSU, you'd be saying this is like the World Series.
No, clearly I wouldn't.
Why not?
Because it's just the NIT.
But it's postseason basketball.
I know,
LSU's
which
still
I'm
playing.
cool with, but like it's just the NIT, go.
Just because Loyola Chicago's in the Sweet 16 and LSU's in round 2 of the
Sister
NIT.
Jean.
Why are you?
More Sister Jean.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know. What's the fascination with her? What is she saying?
Well, she's very honest.
All over all over the internet.
I saw a quote yesterday. So they talked to Sister Jean, and the question was, "You've become a little bit of a sensation here in America." And she stops and is like, "Not to correct you, international sensation." I'm like, "Yeah."
So she thinks she's bigger than Dunc and Holder.
Oh, no, she's definitely bigger than Dunc.
Because
Holder.
we're huge in Mars, so we go intergalactic.
Oh boy, if we're big on Mars, man, then we don't have a lot of hope for the future. I tell you that.
Well, I think we do.
Right
I
now.
think we do. So 8:00 tip on ESPNU and UNO in round 2 of the CBI. They're taking on Campbell.
The Camels.
So you've got that going on, and then. We didn't really touch on it too much. We probably will as the week progresses with college baseball. LSU took 2 out of 3 in their opening series against Missouri, opening SEC play, and Tulane goes 1-2 in Long Beach. And LSU and Tulane will face off tomorrow. Is that right? Tomorrow, Wednesday, obviously one of the 2 days.
Yeah.
Which day?
I'm gonna venture with Wednesday because I don't think they're. But I could be wrong. I'm looking it up right now.
All right, yeah. I know they're playing, and then LSU takes on Vandy this week, so another big SEC series. So, all right. Are we ready for rant time?
Can you just get this over with, please, so we can all move on? Yeah, it is Wednesday. Wednesday at 6:30 in Baton Rouge, Tulane, LSU.
There you go.
You got all the time in the world, Larry.
All right.
You've got 3.5 minutes.
Have you guys done your taxes yet?
No, I have not done mine yet.
Nope.
Do you guys have your own tax person, or do you venture off to like a tax shop in like a shopping mall area?
I do mine myself online.
What?
But I'm about to stop it though.
Have you ever gotten audited?
No, surprisingly, I've been a very good boy with these things.
Well, you know what? Do you ever think about changing your mind on your taxes and going to one of these places in, a little strip mall?
Yeah,
because they got the dancing idiot dancing in the middle of the street saying, "Come on down!"
With the big foam arrow and stuff like that.
I'm dressed as Uncle Sam. I'm dressed as the Statue of Liberty. I guarantee you, I'm not going to screw your taxes up. I guarantee it.
So you're telling me you've been driving on Claiborne a lot?
Has anyone ever on planet Earth been convinced to go get your taxes done somewhere because there's a guy spinning a sign or a lady dressed as the Statue of Liberty? Has you ever been convinced of that? To do it? You?
No.
Me? Hell no. Anyone on planet Earth? No way. It's wasted money by the tax person. Why is the company even employing these people?
Because not everybody can afford to pay what most CPAs and tax professionals charge to get that done. I remember one time I was in school, so I was in college, and I was doing side work, and I got my first 1099 miss. So I got my first 1099 miscellaneous form for like working and doing side work and stuff like that because I wasn't paying tax on it. I remember the first time I started doing my taxes online as a college student, like it was started off and it wasn't working, and it was just a bunch of craziness. I didn't understand what was going on. I'm like, why do I owe? And then I go to an H&R Block, and literally as a college student to get my taxes done, it was not only did I owe money, but I also had to pay $200 on top of that to H&R Block.
Okay, that's fine and all, but someone dressed up in a foam Statue of Liberty costume, dancing around all day, all night. They are not going to convince me to go use their firm for taxes. Why are they dancing around?
Because it's reputable, right?
Absolutely.
But I mean, everybody needs a job, man. Everybody has to. I mean, they have to market themselves somehow, right?
No one will ever go to your tax firm if you have a dancing goob dancing around in front.
So you're telling me that
it would deter me from going there.
I mean, it's got. But I mean, it just like Glenn says. It's got to work, right?
Why don't they get the dancing goob to go stand in front of a bar on Bourbon? That's what I think of.
Will
so
they,
let me go get my taxes done there?
So
right.
So you tell me you've never been swayed by a person swirling the sign around to go like get a new cell phone or lower your cell phone bill either?
No.
Huh.
I walk past all the people in the airport who are dancing around wanting to give me a credit card too.
It's true.
But no. Your taxes.
Those people are in suits, though. They're
Here's
not really
the thing.
dancing.
Everyone has to file taxes. You have to do it. So guess what? If the dancing goob, you go there and they get you audited, the dancing goob got you in trouble. Now there's a lien on your house and you're homeless.
Do you realize that most tax professionals have to be certified? You realize that, though, right?
Most tax professionals don't have to have some dancing goob out front, dressed as like a pelican or something.
Dancing goob. They still have to be certified to be able to do the job.
I bet you the dancing goob has to put down occupation when they file their taxes at that firm. Dancing goob. Good luck, America, if you're going to the dancing goob tax place.
You've got 3 weeks to fill out your taxes.
Exactly.
Just in case you were wondering.
We're all done here on Dunc and Holder. Eric Asher coming up next. You missed any of this? Sports1280.com, NOLA.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube page. Pray for our buddy Dave.
Pray for everyone.
Pray for
Larry. Pray for the dancing goobs.
Pray for the dancing goobs. Eric Asher coming up next. We'll be here tomorrow. Dunc and Holder.
You count on your air conditioning to work perfectly and to make your family comfortable. So if you ever have a problem, you want someone who will be there to help